Hey everybody, Happy New Year. This is Eleanor with Eleanor's Elite Radio. It has been a while since I made a show, and I'm so excited today. First, because the weather is just so beautiful here for Florida, and I have with me Miss Dawn Bradford. Hi, Dawn. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm good.
I'm doing so well. You look wonderful, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Did you do anything for New Year's, or did you kind of hang home?
We just kind of hung at home.
We did the same thing. We were going to plan on maybe going to a little gathering, but I said, you know what, early dinner, early home, and be grateful and blessed for what we have.
I agree.
Yeah, it's just sometimes, I think it's a very forced holiday. You have to drink, you have to be happy, you have to be silly. Sometimes you just want to feel at home with your family, enjoying it and, kind of leaving it go. Anyway, Dawn, we've known each other for a little while now, and we were introduced by a mutual friend, and I want you to tell my listeners a little bit about what you do, because you've had quite a huge change in your life and your lifestyle, correct?
Absolutely.
Great. Can you tell my listeners a little bit about what you do and what you represent, and just give us a little background?
About 4 years ago, I'd always been kind of an athlete in high school, and although high school was a long time ago, active in the gym, things like that.
Yeah.
But we really started focusing more on the nutrition aspect. As you learn more and you kind of go through the process, we really discovered that was the bigger piece of it. So really started focusing more on that, finding programs and different things that would work for us. And now that I've come to discover that that's something that I love to do, because it really is about teaching people. It really is about empowering people to know that it's something that they can do. And we live and we teach healthy, active lifestyle.
Wonderful.
And that's something that once you learn, you can always continue. So even if you fall off a little bit, or you have a bad day, you have a bad month, or something happens, life happens, that's just the way that things are. And it happens to everybody. But when you learn, it's kind of like, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day, teach a man a fish and he'll eat forever. Right. It's kind of that mentality. And that's the part that I like about it, because that's really where the empowerment comes from with people.
And I think also that with nutrition and a way of life, I think that we have come trifold. I believe that we are gearing away from the so-called diet aspect of dieting. No carbs, no carbs, no carbs. No. I think we have now come full circle and realized that carbohydrates are wonderful in moderation, complex carbohydrates and fruits and vegetables and whole grain bread, so on.
Right.
There are some people that, of course, can't have them, but in general, I think we're more based about clean eating. Don't you agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. I think, people think that you have to be restrictive, and I wouldn't say restrictive. I would say mindful. I would say just more conscious about what you're eating, how much you're eating, because restrictive, I have found, even for myself personally, if I say I'm absolutely not going to have it, or I'm going to restrict myself from that, I want it more. And then I end up eating it, or I end up doing it, and then I feel horrible, and then it continues. So I think it's more about learning combinations, like you said, learning about complex carbs, and that carbs are a good thing and your body needs those. And that's, again, where the teaching aspect comes in, because most people don't realize that. I think we have been conditioned for a long time in diet, and you can't have and you can't do. And it really has come around, and people are realizing that, yes, you can. It's just more about how much, how often, and what quantities and what types. And that's where we come in.
And everybody is very different. I mean, they have a commercial on. I don't even know what the commercial's for. I think it was for a scale. And they show 5 women, all different heights, but all 150 pounds.
Yes.
And it was wild because, all of them look so different in proportion to what their height was. And not everybody is the same. Not everybody has, the same trouble areas. Not everybody has a tummy problem, or, maybe their weight's more positioned on the top or the bottom. And there's different ways that you can attack that. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not everybody's the same, and not everybody gets just one same diet program or.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You have to, there's a difference in,
and you have to,
program.
Really figure out what's going to work for you.
Right.
And that's what's important.
Right.
You have to really fill out what figure out what makes you feel the best. Really what you think you can stick to and something that you're going to be able to do for the long term and not just a month or a week or 6 months.
That's the thing.
That's the thing.
That's the ticket right
Absolutely.
there. It's what you can do long term.
Absolutely.
Maybe you want a week of like a really good boot camp, kick it in the ass kind of diet or program. I hate saying the word diet. You want a little something that's going to kickstart you. But then otherwise than that, you need something long-term because you want to be able to say, okay, whatever, we're going to a wedding. I might have a glass of wine or a piece of cake and go back on it tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah, it has to be livable.
Absolutely.
I agree.
It absolutely has to be something that you feel as though for yourself that you can do.
Can you tell us your personal stats?
Over probably when I very first started, I lost about 30 pounds. Believe it or not, I was about almost 180, more than I was when I had my baby.
Okay.
So lost the 30 pounds, really started looking more at body composition, working more on building muscle versus having fat. And like you talked about in that thing that you look at and you see the 5 women, they all look different. And I think one thing that people don't understand as much is muscle and fat. A pound is a pound. It doesn't matter a pound is a pound. You can't change that. But a pound of fat versus a pound of muscle is going to look completely different because muscle is denser. It takes up less room. You're going to look longer. You're going to look leaner.
Right.
So the scale may not change, and that's another
taboo. That has been, now I'm older than you. And I'm telling you, that has always been such a bone of contention for myself because I want to see the numbers. But when you try on your pants, you're like, wow, they're loose, they're not fitting, or the shirt's baggier. But it really is so frustrating because you want to see the numbers go down. And it's not about the numbers. It really isn't.
It really isn't about the numbers because the scale, and I tell people this all the time, the scale may not change or it may change very little. But when you look at it, it's very important, and I always have everyone do pictures. As much as people don't want to do them in the very beginning, you have to do pictures. Because when you do a side-by-side, that's where you're going to see it. And that's where you will understand if the scale only moved 2 pounds, but you can look at the side-by-side picture and see the difference because you're losing inches. You're getting more muscle if you started going to the gym and working out. And the composition of what you look like can be completely different at the exact same weight.
Wow. Dawn, tell everyone how they can, if they want to transform their life. And I'm sure a lot of people, this is the new year, and I don't like that reservation. No, I would like a reservation.
I would like a reservation.
In New York off of Fifth Avenue, just for about a month or two. But resolution, I couldn't think of the word. I know a lot of people are trying to make a change for the better for the new year. So can you tell people how possibly to get in touch with you? Phone number, website?
Absolutely. I have a Facebook page for our business, and that is Coach D Brad, so COACH D Brad. Also, they can always reach me by phone. I have my cell phone with me all the time. My cell is 321-684-8531. So either one of those. And then we also just recently launched a website, my husband and I.
Oh, wonderful.
Where we have apparel. We also do nutrition. We offer a meal prep service.
Wow, you're just going all out there. You're doing everything.
Every millionaire has 6 or 7 streams of income.
That's right.
I'm trying to get there. And then, so on the website, we have apparel, we have nutrition, we have fitness. So all of that is encompassed in the website.
I heard you say meal prep.
Yes, ma'am, meal prep.
Wonderful.
And we're doing that locally now. We've got probably 2 or 3, and we're really starting to ramp that up locally. But the vision for that is by third quarter of this year, we have another group that we're working with, and we want to be able to do that nationwide so that people can go online and order, and it would ship to them directly.
Oh, how wonderful.
And that website, our new website, is Grind24. So it's www.grind24.net.
Grind or grind?
Grind, Grind.
Okay, good. Okay. And of course, all of this information will be on my Facebook page, Eleanor's Elite Radio. And of course, this interview will also be on Spreaker, YouTube, my Facebook page, Eleanor's Elite Radio, my website, eleanorseliteradioshow.com, And you, did I say YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And YouTube too. So let me see. I had so many questions I wanted to ask you. Give us a for instance on somebody who's trying to, let's say, lose 30 pounds. What would be, could you give a sample of perhaps a breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, first of all, it's very important to understand that eating small meals throughout the day is what's important. Your nutrition timing. And we work a lot with nutrition timing because people, again, think 1 or 2 meals or 1 meal because I'll make it some big, huge meal. So, number 1, 5 or 6 small meals. Number 2, breakfast is of utmost importance because your body is at rest. You want to get up, you want to fuel it, you want it to start working. So, breakfast could be something like one of my favorites, scrambled eggs and avocado.
Good stuff.
Good protein, good fat. Love it. I eat that almost every day.
Yeah.
I love that. And then in between, when you're talking snacks, you want to think high protein. So you want to think maybe tuna. Again, you want to think eggs. You want to possibly do like a string cheese and turkey. Or turkey and like asparagus, something like that. So when you think snack, you want to think high protein because the protein is going to help you to maintain as you go through.
Of course. And then the satiety level is wonderful with protein.
Absolutely.
Because I can remember being on a very high protein program, and I remember, I would forget to eat because you're not hungry anymore. But it is important to eat.
It is important to eat.
You cannot skip meals.
You cannot skip meals. I have an alarm on my phone still to this day that goes off every 3 hours because you get busy
you forget. Okay, so that was breakfast. Now you gave a snack.
Lunch, depending upon which you want to be a bigger meal, I always have lunch and then something smaller for dinner, just because it's later in the day. So for lunch, you got to think protein. So ground turkey, chicken, shrimp, any type of fish. So you want your lean protein. You want veggies. The greener, the better. And veggies, yum, you can eat them up. And then some small amount of a complex carb, because that's going to help you stay full as well.
Right.
So think quinoa, think brown rice.
Sweet potato?
Sweet potatoes, yes. Absolutely sweet potatoes.
I love sweet potatoes.
I do too. I do now. I didn't used to. Believe it or not, I never used to eat sweet potatoes.
Oh my gosh.
Now we have them all the time. It's amazing how you figure out what really you can eat and what you like versus what you used to do.
Yes.
And then again, you'll have a snack, and that can be a granola bar, something like that. You want to be really careful, especially if you're trying to lose fat, about your sugar intake. Fruit is great. Remember as well, fruit is a natural sugar.
A lot of it is,
A lot of it is. Berries, if you're going to do fruit, berries. So think strawberries, think blueberries, think raspberries. Those are probably your best bets.
Okay.
And then depending upon your dinner, whether you had a heavier meal or you want something at night, again, you want to think protein and veggies. So you want to do fish, you want to do turkey, you want to have your protein, and then you want to have veggies. And then
now,
if you
are
need
your
something
vegetables
else,
also measured, or is that carte blanche?
I would say in the beginning to measure.
Okay.
Just because...
Get yourself on a good...
Right. What we think about as a portion size, really and truly, in most cases, is probably a double portion at least. Just because of the nature of restaurants and other things that you get packaged. Everyone thinks a portion, but really it's better to measure in the beginning. Once you kind of get into the groove of it, you'll be able to look and know what you're getting and not go over.
And if you go, I think too, because I go out a lot with my daughter, we go out shopping with the baby, we go for lunch, and we're always very careful, And I think a lot of people have to be more careful when they go out because a lot of the processed foods are just so not... They're not healthy. They have, where they say low fat is such a load of crap because low fat means extra sugar.
Right.
And people say, oh, low fat. No.
Right.
Don't, try to eliminate it, go around it. But low fat just means more sugar.
Right.
There's so many avenues about processed foods like even a simple bag of chips that you get maybe with your salad or your half a veggie sub from Subway. Though that bag of chips really is a serving for 2 people.
Absolutely.
Turn around, read the instructions on the back.
That's right.
It's for 2 people, and most people will eat the whole bag.
Eat the whole bag.
So it's really, you got to just train yourself and just educate yourself, I think.
Yeah, and reading labels is very important.
It is.
Because like you said, a lot of times a box or a bag of whatever it is, and you're thinking, oh, that's only 300 calories, but it's 3 servings.